This brand used education and product sampling to become one of the leaders in hydration beverages, resulting in a 9-figure sale to Unilever. Let's dive into
Liquid I.V. Let's go. What's up, everyone? Sean Azari here with Matt SKOPAK.
What's going on, everyone?
Welcome to Deep Dive episode 51, where we find or identify businesses like Liquid I.V. and dive into their marketing and business strategies such that you can take these tactics and implement them into your business. Love this brand. Started in 2012 by Brandin Cohen. You know a little bit about the story behind it. Why don't you give a little context and background of Brandin, how the company went about?
So Brandin was a golfer. He played in college. Senior year, he knows that he wasn't going to go pro like many of us out there. So what he did is he actually got involved in the MLB, and he was a assistant. He worked in the MLB, and he made a lot of friends with pro baseball players. So in the dugouts, he would always notice that these pro baseball players were drinking a baby's drink. They were drinking Pedialyte to hydrate prior to games.
If you Pedialyte's like when you get hungover, people usually drink Pedialyte.
It's like sugary,
great
salty.
for hangovers.
Yeah, great for hangovers. So he was like, why are these athletes, pro athletes, top level sports specimen, drinking a baby's drink? And he started learning and educating himself with the trainers of the pro sports teams about why these drinks work and like the science between hydration and how the body works. So he got very interested and intrigued in that. And that's kind of when he started his journey about creating.
So just give you
Liquid
context,
I.V.
I think we didn't even like mention the product. It's a powdered drink product that hydrates you. Just a little context before we get to the story, so you know what the overall product is.
Exactly. So you put it into a coupler, and it's supposed to work, I think, three times more effective to hydrate your body, which we'll get into the science of why and things like that. But this brand started, I mean, this is a little bit longer, on 2012, and now it's all the way into 2020. They were sold for, I'm assuming, a huge figure. It was undisclosed. I went through the financials of Unilever, hoping to find it in their acquisition section, but it didn't really say how much, but I'm sure it was larger.
I was telling Matt to dig in deeper.
I tried to dig as deep as possible into the financials. Unilever wouldn't allow me to. But why don't we jump into our points?
And just wait, just like right now, I think in 2020, there are about 40,000 stores, correct?
Yeah, so they've grown over, I think, to 42,000 stores or storefronts they're in.
And I think also he had small investments in the beginning, right? He got like
I think they were just probably friends and family and things like that.
And then I think a few years back,
2018, I believe, they did a $5 million raise, which is like their huge raise where they basically paired with like a list of like 38 celebrities or something. Like the biggest celebrities you could think of: Justin Bieber, Kevin Hart, Halle Berry. I think Kygos might have been even one of them. But like literally it was every celebrity on the planet. I probably missed like 10 high profile celebrities that were like also included. So like they all connected with it and started promoting the brand. Justin Bieber created his own flavor.
Great, a lot of collabs, a lot of great investments. So with that said, dive into number one.
Let's do it.
Number one, create a multi-step sign-up form, especially right now after the iOS 14 update. It's really crazy with Facebook ads. If you're listening to this right now, it is October. It's end of October of 2021. Facebook ads has skyrocketed. The data that we used to have with Facebook has pretty much crumbled. It's really hurting a lot of small businesses. And I don't like to say that. Like Facebook is, I remember even last year, that was like the best platform to leverage to target communities and, come up with creatives based on a specific demographic. But right now, literally right now, it's very hard. They're doing this detailed expansion targeting thing, meaning like whatever your interests are, they're using that as guidance because Facebook is losing all that data. Now, how do you capture more data? You need to collect as much information as possible, more than ever. So multi-step format, it allows you. So when you go to the website of Liquid I.V, Skims is very similar as well. Our previous podcast, Poppy, is they say, hey, sign up, blah, 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 discount, right? It could be a discount, whatever. It's just your email. You insert email. Next thing, let's say it's 15% off. But the next step is enter your phone number to get the 15% off, or whatever the discount is. Mm-hmm. So they don't see you're not putting in this one form like email, phone number. Longer forms tend to have lower signups. All right, less fields has higher signups. However, if you do a multi-step, you at least capture the email. If they don't want to put the phone number, fine. You got the email, and you'll still send them a discount code maybe 5 minutes later. But they think, hey, look, I'm gonna get a discount code if I have to put my phone number in. So do that multi-step format. It's definitely working a lot for these brands, and I see it a lot now.
Yeah, it's becoming a big thing. And we always say if these big brands are doing it, they're doing it for a reason. And SMS, if you can capture a number, we know that the conversion rates are higher than SMS compared to email.
Oh, and pro tip, I'm going to launch this with Reborn right now. I'm doing spin the wheel. But for your mobile, now create at least 4 forms. This is, I think, is a great strategy. So when you have a mobile pop-up, so the mobile pop-up, right, captures the email, but you don't have to capture their phone number. You could actually set it up such as says, get my 15% off. Let us text you the 15% off. You press the button. It actually automatically opens up your text message such that you send a text message and it'll send you a text back with a discount code. So that avoids people to enter the phone number. That only works for mobile because on the desktop, you're not going to open up a text message. Yeah. So with desktop, you have another format where it's like your email, then you have to enter your phone number and the text is automatically. Then you have, what's it called? You'll have, I think, a form maybe for people that you already have existing profiles. So they already know. You don't have to ask them for the email, maybe just their phone number. Mm-hmm. So try to make sure it's, you're optimizing your form such that it's targeting the right people so you're not asking them again.
Yeah, makes sense. Number 2, educate your customer base and introduce a problem. So this is something that Liquid I.V does very well. So what do they solve? Ever since the beginning, they solve the common problem of dehydration, which, I mean, to the common person, it's not that big of a deal. But like any good brand, they make it a big deal, and they really focus on really the benefits of not being dehydrated and how their product basically solves the issue. So this is like any brand. It identifies a problem, and then it gives you their product to solve the problem. So always think about it in terms of when you're selling or your company, what your product is and what problem is it solving. And that basically brings it through the flow of how you should properly sell the product.
Yep. And the second that you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated, by the way. So you want to always keep yourself hydrated. I've learned that even when lifting, right? Yeah. After each set, I'm always drinking water.
Always.
People tend to wait till they're thirsty. You already dehydrated yourself, and that's not good. It's going to lower your performance in every way possible. So you want to stay hydrated. Mm-hmm. I'm sure, and this happens to me all the time. Sometimes you're working, you're really dehydrated. You drank a lot of coffee, which dehydrates you, right? You sometimes get these muscle cramps. Muscle cramps, I think, are one sign of dehydration, correct?
Absolutely.
You can't move. So they're reintroducing.
Fatigue's another one.
Exactly. People don't even realize, hey, why am I getting so tired?
Hungry. That's the biggest one. If you're hungry or you feel like you always crave things at night, it's probably not because you're hungry. It's probably because you're dehydrated.
Exactly. So they're educating the users that people tend to forget, or maybe they don't know. So they have a fun format, right? Yeah. On social, in their email and so forth to educate the consumer. Maybe they don't know. So reverse engineer it, right? What does the product do? It solves that. Now, how do you introduce that problem that people have but maybe don't realize it? And you could prevent them from having future health problems and maybe peak at their performance by using their product and staying hydrated.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Brings it almost back to Liquid Gold, your favorite company.
Liquid Death.
Liquid Death. I hated that company, but
I actually like that water. It was really good.
I actually went to a concert now that we're open for COVID to see Rufus the Soul.
I'm sure
and
they're there.
Actually had it at what is it called, the festival, and I was laughing.
Yeah,
because
think about it.
I was Sean always said this is big at festivals.
Yep.
Everyone who was drinking
and Liquid I.V is too, I think. They're at Coachella, I believe.
I believe it. Now I say.
Exactly. Number 3, find ways to growth hack. Ooh, this is great because we talk about this a lot, and there's all different strategies for this. Brandin, when he got his product into some of the retailers, he asked his friends to go to the retailer that was selling his product and buy it off the shelf, and he will Venmo them after they bought it to give them the money back. But he wanted to do that to build up hype, to build up oh my God, for the retailers too, right? So the retailers oh, they're selling out, let's buy more. You're building, because your product's doing well. You're not faking it. You're your product's going to do well, and you're building that momentum because you don't want to lose that retailer. That's your That's your main goal. He already put in the hustle, begged these retailers, like, try my product, put it there. He got it on the shelf. Now it's his job, technically, to get it off the shelf, because that's the end goal of the retailer. It's the end goal of Whole Foods or wherever it is. That's what they want. They don't want to just see it on the shelf and it's dusting away. So he's getting his friends to do it, and that's how his growth strategy, his growth hack came to play. We heard, it was a very similar strategy with Sarah Blakely, Spanx, when she got into retailers as well.
Same thing, yeah.
A very similar strategy, and there's a lot of ways of going about that on social and so forth. So
And that's how you scale it. Like when you get into a large retail box, like you don't get into the whole country or every single store. You probably get into a specific area where you need to perform in that certain area then to be moved nationwide or worldwide or whatever it might be. And now you look at, they're in Costco, they're in Walmart, I think they're in like CVS or Walgreens or things like that, or Target too. So they're all over the place, but you always have to perform in a isolated area and then you'll get expanded.
yeah, use the tools that you have to build hype around your product. You know what your product can do. How can you build that hype at the lowest cost possible to get the word out there? You got to think outside the box, not just Facebook ads, not that. You got to think of these growth hacks. When we talked about actually one of the competitors or one of the brands we spoke about that would comment back to potential customers on other brands just to get their attention.
Yeah.
Like, let's go to a brand's page, let that brand on their brand page comment to that user, saying something witty or something to grab their attention, right? And then they'll look at their page. That's growth hacking right there. It's another strategy. A lot of manual work. Got to be witty.
Lots.
But that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Number 4, focus on your USP to drive sales. And I know you're going to say, Matt, what is USP? So USP is unique selling proposition. So basically, I always like to ask this when I'm starting a business is like, or someone pitches me an idea, I always think about why is someone going to buy your product compared to the competition, or what separates you from the competition? Because you know at the end of the day, you either need to be the first one to market or you need to be drastically different and better than your competition, either by price or features. That's the way business goes. That's the way selling goes. So this is something that I believe Liquid I.V does excellent. So when they sell, and why I think they've been so successful, is they have created a proprietary science called a cellular transport technology. And what that does is it promotes better blood flow into the system. So
Keep going. Keep behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes while in the scenes. So what they do is they have created this proprietary formula where it's a mix of glucose and which is sugar, and salt, and it's all different types of sugar. And what happens, like water takes a while to get into your bloodstream. It has to go around throughout your whole body. When you inject with glucose and salt, it actually bypasses all of that and it goes straight into your bloodstream. So that's why their product uses this proprietary technology or recipe to go straight in your bloodstream, and then it's basically 3 times more effective than water. So that unique selling proposition is basically what makes people say, hey, instead of getting water or getting Gatorade or maybe getting, what is it called? What's the drink again? Pedialyte. Then we're going to try this new brand. And guys, by the way, when you have it, it works. Like a lot. Steve Aoki, he has it before.
I've tried
every
it before.
show. Sean has had it. Numerous people we have. Like, it just works. I mean, you feel better. You actually feel hydrated. So
because there's all these other brands that say, hey, it helps you hydrate. Water helps you hydrate, right?
Yeah.
Water, just water.
Exactly.
It's fine. But what is your USPs? Identifying that is going to help you in the long run. And that's like your thesis, your main thesis. Like going back, like everything you're doing to investors, to your customers, to yourself, what is that thesis?
Yeah.
Your solution, right? Your proprietary blend in that case, right? That solves or helps the dehydration factor, because Gatorade, all that stuff does that. But Gatorade, for instance, except maybe the zero sugar, but it has a lot of sugar, but I don't think it has that proprietary blend to it. There's a whole science behind it, right?
And this is big too. There is a whole science behind it. Like this is, I'm sure, patented and things like that. You see this a lot in supplements, but like this is something like you should focus on, because like even now I'm thinking, going through my companies, it's like, what's our USP? And now I'm like, have we lost focus of maybe like how to sell and like using USP? Because I mean, thinking about like when you run a business, you go so many different routes of how to market, online, social media market, all different types of the business that like you actually sometimes lose like what is the problem and what is our product really good at.
Yeah, at some point, sometimes you're just like, let's just see. Well, it's like see what works, but then you kind of forget like, yo, this is how we actually stand out.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to keep remembering that. It's like, there could be tough times, but if you're gonna stray away, digress from your main thesis, your vision, your unique selling point, it could hurt you because you're not differentiating yourself. They're not gonna remember you as the leader of something. So
and it's always good to always think about your USP. Always brings you back, like when you make decisions about, okay, this is why we're successful. This is what differentiates us from other people. So in our message, either in marketing or whatever it might be, our website, we always need to get this point across because this is what separates us. So I think we're on number 5 now.
perfect. Number 5.
Yep, number 5 for
God,
you.
I'm the worst counter. Create BuzzFeed styled videos as reels. BuzzFeed style videos. If you don't know them, BuzzFeed is a famous platform, I guess you could say, marketing platform. But their videos are very fast paced, very fast paced videos, delicious, and they get shared a lot. So what I saw Liquid I.V, at least a few of their pieces of content, which makes sense. They take their powdered drink and they create drink recipes in a really quick way, and they're leveraging reels, especially right now, just like we always say, new features. Instagram Reels that came out last year is similar to TikTok. They're pushing that a lot right now on their platform to organic users. So you'll be on their explore page, similar people to XYZ. You're going to be featured if you're using a lot more because Instagram wants you to use that. And if they want you to use that, they're going to push that more than they're pushing images, because that was the first thing that Instagram came out with. That was their icon, whatever we call that. They're not going to be pushing videos, just regular videos. They're pushing reels right now. And BuzzFeed style videos get to the point, they get shared a lot, and they're using their product, which is great. I always say this with a lot of the brands, find ways that you could take something that gets shared all the time, and how can you incorporate your product in it? So almost like
Recipes
recreating,
are great. Yep. Recipes or activities or processes, all those are great for.
Yeah, you do that with, I think, Sugar and Kush.
We do.
Right?
We do.
Does it do well, or?
It does well. Right now
Are you doing it on Reels?
I know we definitely do it on TikTok. I think some of the affiliates and influencers do it on Reels.
So are you doing it on Reels?
Not me personally.
Come on.
You have the numbers individual, and then you have the marketing. And number 6, create a mission statement for your brand or your company, and then make all your decisions based upon what your company's pillars or missions are. So this is something that Liquid I.V does really well, and this is something I think we get away from, or you should always do at least at the beginning of the company, and like remember this, is create a mission statement. Liquid I.V has 3 pillars, best products, sustainability, and last one is give back.
And this is different from USP, correct?
This is different from USP. So USP is basically why your product differentiates itself. Mission statement is, what does your brand stand for? What do you stand for? What does your company stand for? So for Liquid I.V, these are 3 things that they focus on. They want to make the best products, both in science, technology, taste, everything that makes the best product. That's what they need to do. And then give back. They are big on giving back. I think they donate over 2 or 3 million of the little powder packs all over the world. When COVID hit, they totally went away from marketing and the retail growth, because basically retail is dead when COVID hit. And they basically donated, I think, hundreds of thousands of packets to hospitals, police force, anyone that was helping with COVID. They really went above and beyond to help out.
It's also a great marketing strategy, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're getting your product out there.
And what you learned is they've always been big in this. They've went to Nepal as a team to donate packets to, like, Nepal's one of the poorest countries in the world, so they went there to donate packets. And that was actually one of the reasons of how much they give back and how much they care about that they got the attention of all those large celebrity investors.
Matt, strategically, not just to be a dick here, right? When you give back to charity, what's the financial benefit here? Is it a tax write-off?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a huge,
exactly.
It's a big write-off.
It depends on depends on how your company is
You're not
structured.
just giving
too.
away, like,
No,
it's
exactly.
also,
It depends on how your company is structured. But most of the time, people, you look at Brandon, he actually had this kind of, in college, he joined the program where he actually gave back. I think it was meals, where he helped create a program where they gave away 10 or 12,000 meals to like underprivileged, and that was a big moment for him where he actually felt that he made a difference in individuals' life. So that I think really when he built this company, like you can see like, and a lot of these companies are, when they create these companies, their mission is to give back and to help people. And I truly believe, I think that was the same thing for Brandon. So I think that's why give back is one of the missions. And then sustainability. I mean, we've seen that over and over. We know we're in an environment and we're in a world where the future depends on sustainability and healthy environmental. So I'm not surprised there,
I really believe also you have to really believe, like you have to not fake it. It's really, and look, all these keywords we talk about, all birds, sustainable, like all these brands, it's a hot keyword right now. You know, people like want to align with brands that are sustainable, they're great for the environment, they're what else? They're giving back, charity, and so forth.
Yeah, look at back the giving. See what they're actually giving back, and sustainability. Look at if someone says, "Hey, we're sustainable," but like you look at the product and it's made of fully plastic and obviously like there's no incorporation of being sustainable. You know, it's not gonna. I mean, they can say it, but people are gonna see right through it.
I think just very high level. Also, just be honest. It's always a great PR move. It allows the media to talk about you and what you're doing for the environment. It's not just like, oh, you're just there. You're just another brand trying to make money and trying to market. No, you're doing something else that's solving problems. Like it aligns with your brand, but you're also like you're helping something out. It helps with your story, right?
Helps with your story, of course. All these brands that we're talking about have that story, but all of them have incorporated, for the most part, like since they started, it's always been a mission to either give back, like find a cause that they believe in, and then develop a product around that cause that actually gives back. So,
yeah, I was just trying to think like, the charity thing is great, but obviously it costs a lot of money. They're giving tons of your product away, which is great marketing wise.
Hard enough to survive as a business from the beginning. But I think a lot of these businesses, I don't know if they do it from the start or actually once they become successful, like, and they actually start generating profit, is like, do they then be like, okay, like now I've gotten this business run, like now can I start donating? I'm not sure what the answer is. I'm sure it's both. But if you can't, I mean, think about this.
I'm very curious on that too.
This is the way I always think about it. It's like, if you can't
afford it,
that's okay, because like if you need to get by in the beginning to create a successful business to be up to the point where you can afford it, then it's okay. Know what I mean? That's the way I like. Know what I mean? If the business just doesn't survive, you're not going to help anyone. First of all, so you have to create a thriving, successful business maybe before you really start then finding what you can donate or what you can give back, and that's okay. Know what I mean? Yeah. So just don't think, oh, I have to donate because like people are going to look at me. That's not true. Sometimes you just need to start and grow that business so that one day that you can focus on that mission to help other people. So
I agree. We're good?
I think we're good, guys.
Awesome. That was episode 51. Guys, if you listen to this on iTunes, Spotify, please give us a 5-star review if you really like this type of content. If you know this is going to help another entrepreneur starting a business, so forth, share this video or audio or podcast with them. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more weekly videos. And if you have any questions, you could tweet at I'm rusty. What is it?
At SKOPAK.
At SKOPAK or at Sean_Azari. And we will see you next
Have a good day.
week.
Night. Out.